Hate these bears. No way, dude. Oh shit, okay. We got some nads going on here. Some ballsy plays going on. I have no spirit link for the Sanguini, sorry guys. Oh my god, the roll, the roll. Nice. Good job, guys. Big damage. Big damage. Carter's doing an easy 722. I think this guy's a shadow of Xavius. Damn. Nice job, guys. Going up, going up, going down, waiting. Get some mana real quick. Stun, of course. I didn't even see that. Did you guys see the entangling? I didn't see anything. Still got a buffalo. Nice. Let's see where we're going. Stunned again. Nice, nice job. Probably should remember that we need to invis soon, but that's okay. I'm gonna need to die. And get rezzed by myself, maybe? I should not have taken that invisibility pot. How do I get past this? Alright, you guys go first and just get away from me. Hey, go first, guys. You meld, Carter. I'll go after you. Alright. See if I can just get past these guys and die. Perfect. You get me up, Camu. Camu! Res me! Thank you, dude. Easy. Definitely not killing any time here. Okay, I'm ready. Pull it. I'm ready. R. Defiler. Squee! Oh my god. I'm shocked that didn't kill you, honestly. I am shocked that didn't kill you. Welcome to the raffle, Rob. Just make sure I'm completely out of the way of that. Damn trees are in the way, I can't see what I'm casting. It's hitting arch so hard. Did you see that? It's crazy. Hey Andrita, what's up, man? How are you? Yeah, I think Devastation would have been, I mean, Augmentation would have been the play. Holy shit. I'm gonna play Augmentation myself, though. How's it going, Andrita? Almost there. Whoa. Nice shot, guys. Easy. Easy, boss. I'm picking up music. Second, change stations real quick. I can find some classics. Yikes. Need to pick me up here. This is not bad. Whoa. Oof. What happened to Orcus? What killed him? Anybody see? Something called him. I didn't even see. You see Arch? Something followed him. You didn't heal him? That's how he died? No way, dude. He died too quick. He popped, dude. Like a balloon. I gotta drink real quick. Did he hit one ducky? I didn't see. That'll definitely kill you. No doubt about it. Poop, this is, oh shit. Sorry, Brusky, I mispulled there. My bad. This is a 22. How are you, sir? We're doing viewer keys. If you guys are lurking, don't forget to follow. This isn't oh shit, that's right. Oh, Ducky, thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Where are the big guys? They're dead? Oh, there he is. Nice, nice, nice. I'm about to get on. Don't know if I should go tank on Monk Druid or DH. Depends what you like. Sorry, Arcus, that was like... I couldn't save you. I tried, dude, I'm sorry. DH tank is definitely best at the moment, but, you know, if you don't have fun with it, it's not really... It's, rating doesn't help if you don't like it. That makes sense. Keywords Pro, guys, you want to get the next one? What? How did it happen? How did that happen? I'm gonna wait for a res, fuck it. I did not understand how that happened. I was jumping. I don't understand that at all. I think I was jebaited somehow. I don't know what happened, Broski. I'm being bullied. Stop bullying me. Wow. Camus doesn't really want to res me, I guess. Camus, are you gonna res me or? Camus? He's running away? Alright, cool. No problem. Alright, whatever. Fuck it. I'll just reincarnate. We may regret that later though. I guess he had enough of res in me. Why, Camus? Why? Nice. Yeah, I mean, last boss is going to be a little bit rough though. Dragon's not bad. It's really a positioning thing. Nice job. I'm good whenever. Wandering Star. Keywords Pokemon in this one, guys. Damn. Yeah, I feel it. I love DH playing Shadowlands and it felt bad, and main was not using sigils. It's been very good and very bad over the years, I would say. Squee, no! He's killing my friend. Oh, unrooted. Not good. Not ideal. Oof. I don't know how that killed you there, but I don't think it's worth resing you because I don't think you're gonna survive that crash ability. This means we got a long way to go. Yeah, I don't think you did anything wrong necessarily. I think you're just too low. That was rough.
to play this evening?
Nice. I will be kindling. Dude, bro's got like 1 billion hit points. Literally take forever to kill this guy.
And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
Great song.
I have something to tell you.
Okay, Sarah. Nice. Damn. Yeah, I think Siler, we're just taking a lot of damage at the moment because the fight's going on for a while. But I still have some cooldowns left, so it's like alright. We'll be dead soon though. Yeah, the Shattered Earth is almost killing us. It's crazy. Nice job, guys. I think you release here, but I'm gonna reg anyway, just in case I'm not positive about that. Whew. What's the lock? This time just release. I'm pretty sure you release right behind us. I'm almost positive. Right? The release point's behind us, is it? Anybody know? Yeah. I think it's like fairly close. Oh no, it's not close at all. Never mind. It wasn't close at all. Yeah, Ducky. I just baited him. You gotcha baited. Dude, that sucks. That is garbage. Alright, let's do some boss music since it's 22. I really don't think you would survive this, to be honest, though. This boss is gonna be brutal. I'm gonna get mana. Alright, let's do some boss music. Drinking. The fight yet? Oh, there we go. Hey, Shwetty. Nice. Nice, nice. How are you, Shorty? Nice. Carter! It's close. He was Oh, you might be in trouble here. Nice. Whew. I think we're good. No! Shit. I can't reach anybody. Fuck. Watch the breath. No! Anybody got a res? Damn it. Arch, the breath got you. The breath got you, sir. Get him, boys. You think so? He's doing good. Get him, Carter. Kill him. Shoot her. Nice job, guys. Not release. I guess not. God damn it. All the way back here. Latino, this is 22. Looking for adventure. How are you today, sir? We're killing the timer. God damn it. I like smoking lightning. Heavy little thunder. I got high tide. I like high tide. Nature's child, we were born to be one. It might be okay. We got 2 minutes to get to the boss and then 4 minutes to do it, basically. I like high tide, Jeremy. If you guys just joined in, we're doing viewer keys. Don't forget to follow. Yes, Jeremy. On YouTube and a couple of places. You could also DM me on Discord, or you Google Dr. Terminator on Radar.io. Character name's Dr. Terminator. My talent build's all on my YouTube channel, though. Provost Briggs. Twitch is Provost. Yeah, we just need to not die here. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up Camu during the fight. I don't think I will anyway. I doubt it. And on the highway. We'll see though. If you stack, they don't jump around, it's just FYI. Nature's child, born to be wild. Our stuns. Nice. 4 minutes for boss. Just drink real quick here. Okay, you're good. Get him, boys. Get him. Alright, next boss song coming up. Feed the weak soon. Ooh, good song. Nice. Crescendo. Feed the weak soon. On me. You okay, Annie? Watch out, Camu. Feed the weak in now. Wow, damn, that hurts. Yo, Acid, thank you for the raid. How are you? Sorry, we are in the midst of something here. Remember to go in for the Spirit Link? Oh, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. I can't heal it. You got no health. Oh my god, you're alive. Whew. You've been struck by. Yo, Neebs! Thank you for the tier 1 for 3 months. Thank you. Get in for the Spirit Link. Spirit Link, Spirit Link. Nice. Can we get a shout out for Acid K? I will give GLG for any follows for Acid. Acid, let me know how many follows you get. Sorry, madam. Feed the weak in 8 seconds. Oof. Feed the weak soon. Feed the weak on me. Oof. You've been struck by a smooth criminal. How's your stream, Acid? Shit. Oh shit. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Next, feed the weak. In 3 seconds. Easy key. Nice job, guys. Woof. Oof, nice job. Thank you for the huge raid. Oof, thanks, you know. Nice job, guys. Not even close. Not even close. Woo! Oh, huge job. Huge job, guys. Jesus. Cannot pronounce anything. Ah, nice job. Gonna make change. Can we get a shout out for Acid? Acid, let me know if you get any follows. Thank you for the huge raid. Hope you had a great stream. Oof. Welcome to the Raffle Blues. We're gonna do another roll for GLG. Unfortunately, even with the raid, I gotta stop here. So I gotta get that going before he changes his mind. No, I don't even use Primordial Wave. Yeah, it's fine. Nice job, guys. Huge damage from Carter, 300k overall, 250 from Cat Bane, Squee 141. I did a measly 36. Sorry, Moose. I gotta take the little guy.